what had happened
And you
was,
want them to make a decision, quite frankly, based upon your excuses for him. Doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And won't.
It's easier to be a doctor than to be a lawyer, I guess.
Well, if you like the demotion of being a doctor, that's fine. Because I prefer being a lawyer. I prefer the system that we have. The system I believe and have faith in works.
Welcome to What Had Happened Was.
Where we take a peek into actual court cases and give you commentary based on our unique perspective and experiences, and also give you informational tips and tricks to help you avoid a what had happened situation.
Before we get started, give us a thumbs up, a tasteful comment, subscribe to the channel to be notified of every video as they come out.
Court does call the case of the People versus Philippe.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Rita White on behalf of Mr. Christian Phillip. Please state your name for the record.
Christian Phillip.
All right. All right. What are we doing today?
Ms. Phillip is present in the courtroom today. She's a person listed in count 3 and count 4, and she's requesting to speak to the court.
So you have the complaining witness, who's also his wife of the defendant.
She's defending him like she's his lawyer now.
Yeah, she's the complaining witness against him in the charges in counts 3 and 4, and she wants to speak to the court. This ought to be very interesting.
She's out of control because she's saying, she's like, I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna make it all right and everything. We're gonna settle it. It's gonna all go away. Watch this.
Let's see.
Watch this.
Let's see. I think it's called Mary Poppins defense.
Because a spoonful of sugar mixed up medicine.
It makes the case go away too, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Have any objection to that, counsel?
No objection, I guess. No.
Have a seat. Ma'am, come on up.
Thank you, Your Honor, for giving me the opportunity of defending my husband, basically. My name is Katarina Majdaňuk Phillip. I'm a neurologist. I'm a citizen of this country.
We know who you are. You're the complaining witness.
Right. She said
You're the reason why he's in court right now.
She's like, I'm gonna fix this. Watch this. Magic.
Yeah, Mary Poppins. Yeah, okay, let's see.
And all over the report, my name is there. And basically nobody wants to hear what I had to say. Excuse my emotions and my accent. But this case has been taking a toll on our mental health. So I come in front of you basically just like Esther went in front of King Ahasuerus. I come in front of you as an authority, and I hope that you will hear what I have to say. And I want justice. I want this case to be dismissed. Christian is not only my husband. He's not only the love of my life, father of my children. He's my best friend. He's my support. He's the person I find comfort and understanding. He has been by my side for the past 12 years since we met. He has.
And I needed to call the police on him.
Yes.
And get him away from me for a few days.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Please explain.
I'm waiting for the explanation.
Been by my side through a residency, a fellowship, my board exam, through being an attending, through working in the system. He has been there and supported me. He wiped my tears, and he has been there for all my historical moments. And I can have a lot of those.
And yet you repay him by getting him locked up. That's how you repay him for all his hard work and effort. Your best friend
that does everything for
love of your life, who did hold your hand when you was acting all up. And this is how you repay him by having him locked up and sent to jail.
But this is a domestic violence case, so we don't know what happened.
Yes, I have no idea.
It's just, she said all of these great things about him, but yet one thing happened and the police had to get called, so I don't know.
All these great things were said, and nevertheless, we are still here where we are.
He's one of the smartest people, one of the kindest people I have met. He's a magna cum laude student. He's a med school graduate, just like I am. He has a big heart. He's honest and empathic. He's always there for anyone that needs help. He's not a criminal, and I will not allow anyone to treat him like this. What has happened 8 months ago happened in the midst of sleep deprivation for more than 4 weeks. Do you know what led to this? It was basically his big heart. He came up with the idea of buying a house for my parents. They live in an apartment in a cage, how he calls it. My mom has metastatic cancer, and he wanted her to have a better quality of life. He wanted her to be able to spend time in the garden and breathe fresh air. It was his idea. That's his big heart. What has happened after? It was a lot of stress brought by trying to remodel the house in less than a month and a half and dealing with his job. That brought a lot of stress and led to insomnia. He was sleeping 1 to 2 hours, maximum 3 hours per night for more than 4 weeks. Do you know what sleep deprivation does to your brain?
What did she say she did for a living again?
She's a neurologist.
Neurologist. So she's a brain doctor.
She's a brain doctor.
So let's see what her expert
So
testimony.
now she's going to expertly testify as to why her husband behaved the way he did. And yet still knowing that, having gone to school, having gone to medical school, having done residency, and now being a specialist.
Doctor in a fellowship.
Doctor in a fellowship. And she's a neurologist. And still knowing that he had, and the reasons why he was doing everything he was doing. Because she's emotionally involved and she knows firsthand. She still called the police on him.
In spite of the fact that, that's what I'm saying, in spite of the fact that all that, he's not the one that dialed the number to call the police and get them involved.
And now you mean to tell me she couldn't find a better way to get him to shut his brain down?
No, I guess that.
So how in good conscience could you imagine you coming to her with the same exact case and she's telling you she knows how to fix the problem, but yet in her own house she can't fix the problem?
Are people of Michigan aware what happens with the chemistry of the brain if a person is sleep deprived for a prolonged period of time? It leads to changes in behavior. I myself was super stressed about all this house remodeling. I was also in a period of fasting and I was very irritable.
So she's a neurologist.
She had all that going. She was irritable.
She's the brain doctor
Yes.
that studies the brain and knows about the brain.
Yes.
That's what she's supposed to know about.
That's her
And
expertise.
she couldn't think about, because she had so much going on
She said she was
her brain.
irritable. She was irritable.
and sleep deprived. And she's now going to testify about how important sleep is. Physician, heal thyself.
As a neurologist, I should have known better and recognized the problem. Unfortunately, I was not able to think clearly at that time myself due to poor quality of sleep and stress.
And I'm wondering, is she treating people while all this is going on? So you don't know, she's not realizing something. She's opening a can of worms because she's sitting there saying that she had all this going on and she was going to work and treating people.
Right.
With all this going on, and she knows how important. So you weren't at your full capacity
And she
either.
didn't have grip on herself either, according to her own testimony.
She doesn't understand. She should have kept her mouth shut. She could open herself up to a malpractice suit.
This state led to that event, and now 8 months later, we are still dealing with these consequences. Let me ask you something, people of Michigan, and especially the prosecutor's box. Do you have a perfect family? All you that are married, you have not had any disputes in your family?
Ma'am,
I know.
I'm just going to caution you on one thing. Address the court. I don't want you addressing any of the parties that are in the court.
I apologize, Your Honor.
She doesn't realize she was evil genius monologuing just now.
Yes, she was.
When she started talking about, like the reasons why we're here today and all this other stuff. That's
It was
evil genius
inevitable going to
monologuing.
happen. Yep. I thought Frozen was about to show up in court for a second there.
She's evil genius monologuing. this is why we're here today. A set of circumstances occurred, and as a result, another set of circumstances happened.
Exactly. We hear it's inevitable that this was going to happen. You fell into my trap, Mr. Come on, give me a break here. Jeez.
But there is no perfect family. We have to be honest. Everybody has discussions in their family. And if there is somebody that thinks you are in some sort of danger because that's what they think, and call the police, you're basically done. When the police showed up at our door, I just came from shopping. If I thought I was in danger, I would have stopped at the police station and I would have called for help.
She's saying it as if she's like, I'm on my way home from the store. You know what? Let me stop by the police station and let them know what's going on. I'm in danger. That's not what happens.
It doesn't matter. She didn't have to make the call.
She doesn't even have to make the call because the neighbors,
Exactly.
anybody could call because obviously there was enough noise going on with whatever's going on that they needed to call. The police had to come out.
Somebody felt that
something's
there's
going
a
on.
need, that
So he could have
someone
been,
was in some sort of problem
doing
with someone.
construction at 3:00 in the morning just because why? Because he's like, I can do it, let me do it. So we don't know. It could have started as a noise complaint.
That was the case. And when the police came to our house, one of them told me, "Ma'am, this is not enough for us to arrest him." Well, I didn't want him to be arrested. What I wanted and our understanding was to take him to ER. He needed that kind of help.
So why didn't she take him to, she's a neurologist, and she's a neurologist where? I'm thinking a hospital maybe. Why she didn't take him to the ER? Because I'm quite sure if she would have taken him to the ER, she would have been able to explain what it is she wanted. If she wanted him to be infused because he was dehydrated or whatever, she could have went. Because once again, she's a doctor, she's a neurologist, she studied, she did this, and yet she wasn't able to express herself to the quote unquote police officers.
No, she was not.
He needed to sleep. That's what I requested. The ambulance was there at the scene, and the lady, the EMT, came and told me, "We'll let police take him to ER so you don't have to pay a bill." How I wish I would have paid that bill and not be here today. Little did I know what that meant. And I want you to be aware that the first thing I did that night and the following day was to look for him in ER. I called U of M ER and St. Joe's ER. He was sleep deprived, and I have articles in my.
So she said he was sleep deprived.
Yes.
So instead of her just making sure, going with him to the ER and saying, you know what, he's dehydrated, she could have went with he's dehydrated, he might need to be infused or whatever, and getting it. But once again, she's a neurologist. That just means she knows the studies of the in and outs of the nervous system. But before she became a neurologist, she had to do general practice before she could specify into the brain, because they don't just say, hey, just become a neurologist and only study the brain. You have to know all the parts of the body and how they all work. They even have you do a round of surgery. You do a round of every department in the hospital before you become before you go into your specialty, to make sure that they know that she must be an excellent lab doctor, because she had studies and findings and all this other stuff, but she couldn't just say, my husband is exhausted, I'm exhausted, and I was just wondering if you could just give him an infusion, he's dehydrated, so that he can kind of relax and reset himself.
Possessions that support that sleep deprivation can cause behavioral changes, and the treatment is just sleep. The treatment he got was a rest.
So she's probably one of those doctors that would probably be like an expert witness, like testimony. She does findings. She's like a great laboratory person, but just regular stuff. She
has no bedside manner. That's the statement. No bedside manner.
Because she's saying about all these things that they need, but So if what he needed was sleep, why wasn't he able to get that in his own home? Why did he need to go to the hospital to get sleep? Because I don't know, all the times I've been in the hospital, I have never gotten any sleep because every 2 hours they're checking your blood pressure
Exactly. You don't
and they're
sleep in the
measuring
hospital.
you and checking this and the lights are on.
And once again,
So
she said she's complaint. There's a complaint. There's at least 4 charges he has against him, and charges 3 and 4 are her.
7 weeks of jail and 8 months of hell.
He was in jail for 7 weeks. 7 weeks he was
did
in
he
jail.
get any sleep while he was there?
That's a good question. Did he?
Because,
I wonder.
well, what was the factor that was not there while he was in jail?
Well,
that
the only
was
factor
there.
that's not there is the complaining witness was not there with him. That's the one factor. That's the
Who knows? They
the
might even
nominated
be like,
that was
leave him
not
alone,
there.
man. He's married.
You never know.
Now. And my question is, what information was given to the ER provider that led to a misdiagnosis? From my standpoint as a physician, the information I have provided to the police officer would have been enough for an admission. And now he's also being accused of R&O. I was there. And I know he was not resisting. He was being pushed back and forth, and the car camera could not catch the scene. We don't have the body cameras available to our review. Everybody goes by the report of the police officer.
She's not realizing she's making him sound like a patient, and that he's supposed to be her husband, her great husband that she loves so much. Why she didn't say he's exhausted? He's exhausted, and I've been trying to get him to go to sleep, and I just want to get him checked out at the emergency room to make sure everything's okay.
I have a question that bothered me. Why did the police have to tell her we don't have enough to arrest him on if she's not trying to get him arrested?
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, meaning
It
that
doesn't make any
they didn't
sense.
want to take him.
Yeah, and so I mean, somebody's insisting he be arrested, and they're saying we don't have a case to arrest him, nothing to charge him with.
But nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to what I have to say. I feel like as a citizen of this country, a democratic country, I should have a word to say. Is the word of the police officers the law?
She's soapboxing. She's standing there and she's lecturing the court, because if she would have realized what she was saying, she said no one was listening to me. Once again, we just said that how come they took him? Because they said they didn't have enough to arrest him on.
What she's saying is it are the police allowed to just go and arrest people?
Yes, they are allowed to arrest people.
That's what they're there for. They're enforcers of the law. People who break the law. So when the people break the law, they go and get them.
So now
That's
if
their job.
once again, she could have solved this whole problem. She should have took him to the emergency room herself.
Exactly.
And if he didn't want to go, she'd have said, okay, you don't want to go? Now, I don't know what to tell you. Why she didn't make him a cup of tea, something, I don't know.
Give some chamomile.
She could have gave him some chamomile,
was
sleepy
doing
time tea.
Sleepy time tea. There you go. Solve that insomnia problem right there.
That is my question. And again, I'm here to support my husband and stand by his side. I know him, but nobody else does. I know him the best. And
yeah, of course you stand by your husband. You threw him under the bus already.
Your
You better
Honor,
stand by
I'm
him.
here to help my husband do this.
Even though I don't know what that.
I pushed him in here in the first place.
Exactly.
if I felt I was in danger, I would have done something. And I was told that a lot of women cover all this domestic violence because they don't have anything to put on the table for their children. This is not our case. This is not our case. I'm a physician. I think I make enough to support my family. And as I said, this was an isolated event. And I don't know why, despite of the fact that I have made it very clear, this is not a domestic violence and I have nothing against my husband. The prosecutor's office stays against me and my husband, and they keep accusing him.
Oh, I know what happened. What had happened was she sat there and pressed charges against him. And though this is back in the days, you can press charges and drop charges, and then that's the end of it. They don't understand that there's been legislature because of the fact that people have done this.
Because they were intimidated and they
And
dropped the
and
charges.
they intimidated, drop the charges, or they
Yes.
drop the charges. The next day, Lord forbid, something even worse happened, and that might have resulted in something. So now they don't do that. Those days are
No,
over.
the state picks it up now
Exactly, and it's at their discretion
to
whether they
drop
want
the
to do it
charges
or
or
not.
not.
You know, and she sat there and was mad and upset. But the bottom line, all this was done because your husband loved you
And your
and
family.
your family.
Because he said
And
the beginning
it's starting to
was,
seem like it's a socio-economical thing. Or this only happens to people who are
a modest
of
income.
modest income and lower education. Well,
In the renovation of their
well,
house,
guess what?
in the renovation of their house,
With her high education,
and them and her mother battling her illness,
exactly.
this is what happened. So this wasn't anything to do because poor people renovate and
Well, you know what the problem was? Because the fact that since she said she had a cancer, he was trying to make sure he got it done and she can at least see it and enjoy it before something lost or did something happen. So much for his love for her. Look what it got him.
I'm gonna say passion.
Yeah. I'll say something else. We'll leave it alone right there.
This man is a med school graduate. He has dreams. Now he's unable to pursue his dreams, to go to med school or a PA school because he has all these accusations on his record. Nobody can get a license in this country, in this state, if they have an unclean record. And I don't know what they have to gain accusing us. This society will lose.
Now it's us.
Where was the solidarity when the man just wanted some
He's
sleep?
the only
just
man
needed
on the
some
planet to ever want to dream. Have a dream, really.
No, he didn't want it. He didn't have a dream. He just wanted some sleep.
I think right now his dream is to not be in court. That's his dream.
Oh man!
Ridiculous.
Imagine if she didn't like him. Imagine if she
And this
really.
is what love got him.
And she really had something
This
against
is
him.
love. This is love.
What's love got to do with it?
Good question. What does it? Nothing.
Two smart people, myself and my husband, two smart kids that have dreams.
So she outsmarted herself and him.
And him, yes.
That's how smart she was.
This is what one smart person did to destroy two smart people.
People.
Yes, that's
See,
exactly what
sometimes
she
you
did.
gotta be a little less smart.
Yeah.
And they want to become doctor and vet. That's what the society will have to lose.
I know you caught that, right?
Right. She said doctor and vet.
So,
And a vet is a doctor.
so she's a snob.
Yeah, so
so
she's
she's
like,
like-
oh, I'm a
So
neurologist.
she's putting her nose, twisting her nose down on the vet. So it's because she's a neurologist, so she's doing the whole.
No, and then the husband,
completely
well,
different
and then the
level.
husband was he doing the work in the house, or what? She didn't like the fact that he was manual, he was doing manual
He
labor
only
too.
had his dream. Remember, he had a dream.
It was a dream.
He had a dream. He didn't get no sleep, but he had a dream while he was like, yes.
Two kids with where the baby goes? Why do people keep saying kids
I don't know.
with dreams?
And there's no, I don't get it. But now, when she's showing, see, the more she talked, the more she's.
She should have stayed out of it.
Going further and further down.
She should have stayed. She should have just stayed.
Shut up.
You
She should
know
have said nothing.
exactly.
So she should have did. Shut up and said nothing.
And that's why the lawyer's like, when she first said, "Can she say things?" She's like, "I guess so." Like, this is not gonna make it any better because I already read what she's gonna say.
Poor defense attorney. She's like, I don't know how the hell this is going to help us out. Well, I see the gate closing hard on this client. It's ridiculous.
He gonna have 25 for life, and they're like, well, he didn't even do anything. Stay tuned for part 2 of what happened was.